Hey, and welcome to today's video. So in this video, we're going to break down one of the most popular pitches on Shark Tank ever, which was the Scrub Daddy pitch. So if you haven't seen this, definitely go check it out. In this video, Muhammad and I are going to break this down. He did very well on this pitch. So we're going to reverse engineer why the pitch went so well and also insert some of our ideas about what he could have done a little better. So we'll go ahead and watch the first few seconds here and get started.
Hi, Sharks. I'm Aaron Krause from Philadelphia, and I'm known as the daddy of the Scrub Daddy, the cutest but most high-tech scrubbing tool in the world.
All right, so we'll go ahead and pause this right here. One of the first things that I love about this is he got to the point so quickly. And oftentimes people will spend 30 to 45 seconds giving their background, but he gave him who he was. He gave him a piece of information about him. He inserted a little hook, which was that he's the daddy of Scrub Daddies and why he's here. So such good. He did it in 9 seconds. All right, we'll go on a little bit.
Today, I'm seeking a $100,000 investment in exchange for 10% equity in the Scrub Daddy business.
And then again here as well, he immediately states what he wants from them. So oftentimes people will beat around the bush. They'll spend a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then say what they want. And the whole time the person is on edge waiting to hear what the ask is. So he jumps in first with it. All right, we'll go on a little bit more here.
It's the greatest kitchen scrubbing tool you ever used because Scrub Daddy completely changes its texture by just adjusting your water temperature. Let me show you how that works.
All right, Muhammad, what are your thoughts so far?
So far, so good. He's very concise, very he's not beating around the bush. The funny thing is echoing your sentiment earlier about addressing what your needs are right away. Like, what are you here for? Like, we're not here just chatting up. It's not small talk. Hey, look, I'm this. This is who I am. I'm from Philadelphia. This, Scrub Daddy, and also how he showed it right away. So this is a benefit when it comes to physical products. When you can show it, it's a lot easier to wrap your head around it. When you're saying something that's intangible, a little difficult to portray. But when you have a product, you make use of it. And when it comes to addressing the elephant in the room right from the get-go, it's good to kind of have that right at the forefront to build that trust and rapport.
That's it. That's it. All right, we'll go ahead and keep watching more.
Here I've got some hot water. Here I've got some cold water. When I immerse the Scrub Daddies in the hot and cold water, a complete transformation occurs. Now, to show you that, I've got 10-pound weights. Here, under the 10 pounds, it's soft and compressible, and that's like a sponge. That's for your general scrubbing applications. But here, check that out. It's hard and...
All right, and again here, if you know much about us and our messaging, we teach people to use the SEED, and it's an acronym that stands for statement, evidence, emotion, demo. And he's done a great job of going through SEEDs, and now he's at the demo portion. So oftentimes people won't always be able to demo, but if you can give some type of demo, it is such a good way to keep engagement up because the sharks are curious. They are trying to figure out what is going on, and he's giving them a live demo in the moment. All right, we'll keep on going here.
And firm, that's going to be for heavy-duty scrubbing applications. We burned on brown and gravy, tomato sauce, cheese, and mustard onto a glass stovetop and a stainless steel pan. I'm going to take the Scrub Daddy, and you're going to see it's just going to attack right into that burned-on mess, scrubbing it right off. And remember, I'm just using water here. There's no chemicals at all, and it's going to cut right through that. It won't scratch any of your surfaces, but it will clean them.
All right, Muhammad, what are your thoughts so far? Anything he could do better here, or are you liking it so far?
Liking it so far. One thing I noticed is that he uses it in different contexts. Like, you can see, you have the easiest way to really get your idea implanted in the other person's mind. Like when you're giving a pitch, is to really fill in the blank. Where can I use your product? So when he put out that stove and that kitchen, I can see it. I can visualize. I can see myself using it in these particular circumstances. So he's doing an amazing job using different contexts and how you insert your product and where you could use it. I'll share some things on what we could do in terms of improvement, but let's move along.
Sounds good.
Beautifully. Now, Scrub Daddy's not really smiling anymore, so I'm going to put him here in the warm water, and in just a couple seconds, Voila.
And some of the things that he does well throughout this whole presentation is the use of humor. So from the very first there, he goes, he's the daddy of scrub daddies. Just that sentence is kind of funny, right? It's like, what do you mean you're the daddy of scrub daddies, right? That was the hook. And then here, the whole product is kind of humorous. It's a smiling scrub, and he continues to ride the smiling scrub. And now he expands further on it.
One more thing, if I can add, Chaz, like, right, if
Yeah.
you notice, right, the other, if you want to reverse engineer this a bit more, he says things, he says things but doesn't say it. What I mean by that is you notice that in this particular instance right here, he didn't say, oh, it gets dirty, let me show you how to clean it. Instead, he says, it's not smiling anymore, let's make him smile.
Yeah.
So indirectly, he's showing us what we need to know without actually saying what he needs to say.
That's it. And this also falls into the C a little bit there. Again, the statement, evidence, emotion, demo we were talking about, and he's using some emotion in this one. So instead of saying it's dirty, let's clean it, he says it's not smiling anymore. That invokes emotion, just that sentence.
He's back to bright, fresh, and clean every time. Sharks, that's not just another smiling face. You put it on your hand, you can get to the bottom and clean the sides in one move. And that smiling mouth, that cleans spoons, knives, forks, spatulas, even large serving spoons on both sides at the same time. Sharks, with your help, Scrub Daddy will be scrubbing and smiling in every kitchen in the world. Woo!
All right. And that is his pitch. So final takeaways, Mohammed, what are your thoughts?
All in all, like, he did a fantastic job showcasing his product. He was all business, all cash, no credit, no, like, there's no unnecessary movement, no unneeded words. He didn't stumble and stammer. I don't think I even heard a single or like, he clearly practiced and demonstrated this over and over and over again. And at the end, I'm sure it was clever editing with Shark Tank that you noticed that they were smiling at the end. So a smile can really work wonders. And, you know, echoing the whole sentiment of emotions, a powerful smile works wonders. And if you can get that going, that's great. The other thing I would humbly suggest, although it was solid and stellar, it was very demonstration based, which is great. Show us, don't just tell us how awesome it is. The only thing I would simply say when it comes to this particular pitch to really take it to a much more memorable level is having a little bit more of a pace. Now, this is a double-edged sword here, because if you give too much of a gap, then they'll latch on. But at the same time, I feel like he was more concerned with getting the information out there as opposed to really connecting with the audience. Maybe saying something like, hey, Mr. Wonderful, you ever feel like you ever have those moments where you can't scrub your stove properly? Like, a little camaraderie there will make it a little more at ease. If you notice, he's like a runaway train, doesn't pause or stop throughout. So that's my only thing. Building that little rapport, he adds some jokes, like he said, like the daddy of scrub daddies, but just feeling a little bit more at ease would work wonders, I feel.
Yeah. And what you refer to is more like that calling on an audience member and, you know, maybe teasing them or calling them or saying you could, you know, Mr. Wonderful, here, you could clean your dirty kitchen or whatever. Exactly. And just involving them and engaging with them. And also, when he is going through it, the context of the situation here is, I know we were talking about this, one reason he's probably going so quick is so the Sharks don't interrupt him and cut him off, and he wants to get his pitch out there. But if you're not in a situation where you're pitching in front of sharks, right, figurative sharks here, then it would be in your best interest to take a beat sometimes. Because if you're likely, when you're giving a presentation, most of the time, you're not going to get interrupted. I mean, people are going to let you talk. So you could take that beat, take that second, pause in between what you're doing, and let that sink in for a second for them.
100%. It's like I think in that it's like a real life infomercial right in front of your eyes, right? So there you go.
Yeah, that's what they say at the end as well.
It's like an infomercial. So it's great. Now, the only thing is, again, he pluses all around, like positives all around. It's just those little nuances just to really get to know. They know what he's up for, right? Like, he's like, I want 100,000, I think, for 10%. So there's no beating around the bush. He's not doing this for charity, right? He's not asking for sympathy or things of that nature. It's a business after all. And then he just demonstrates it. Look, I can show you here. How do you clean it? He addresses so many questions by just a few seconds of demonstration. And the other cool thing I want to highlight here with the 10 pound, the weight, it's always good when you're having a product using something else for scale. If I say hypothetically, Chaz, like, hey, you can drop a 10-pound weight or something really hard, that's one thing. But when you have something to compare and contrast, it's amazing. And I think Apple did this really well as well with the iPad. I don't know if you remember for those who are watching, you've seen this. He opens it from an envelope, like an actual leather size envelope. Do you know what I'm talking about here?
No.
So it's similar to that. It's like, so, a regular envelope that you use to send letters and mail letters. Instead of saying, oh, the iPad's so thin, what he did is he actually inserted the iPad in the envelope and took it out. So it's a way to compare and contrast. So you can, in this case for the Scrub Daddy, you can say that, yeah, it's good for hard surfaces and soft surfaces, but you use those 10-pound weights to compare and contrast. Okay, I get it. I have something to compare it to.
Exactly. It's such a great way to really show the differences. Well, for you watching, thank you so much for joining us here. I hope you learned something and got some takeaways from this pitch that Mr. Scrub Daddy did. And leave your comments below. What are your thoughts? What do you think he did well? What do you think maybe did we miss something that he could have improved on? Be sure to subscribe. And if you want to improve your speaking skills, check us out. Click the link below. We'll see you next time.